Good afternoon, everyone. Brooke here. I'm going to do a 30-minute beginner's Pilates routine today. And the only equipment that we're going to need is a soft ball and a long resistance band. If you have those things close to hand, go ahead and grab them. If you don't have them, still do the workout anyway. Just do what I'm doing without the equipment. It's fine. So we're going to go ahead and start standing up. Check your feet are hip width apart and parallel, so toes and heels in a line. Start drawing your abdominals in, lengthening through the crown of the head. Take a big breath in, reach the arms up. And then breathe out, come up onto your toes. Just finding your balance. And then reach the side as you drop your heels down to the mat. Drop your chin to your chest, round your spine, and roll yourself all the way down over your legs. Just hanging there for a moment. Nod your head. And then shake your head side to side. Good, and bend your knees, get your hands down to the mat and slowly step your hands forward, breathing out as you walk your hands out into a nice high plank. Now from here, we're gonna slide the shoulders down away from the ears. I'm gonna lower your right knee down to the mat. Try not to rest on the knee, just touch it down to the mat and then breathe out. Lift the knee back up. Now inhale, lower your left knee down to the mat. Exhale, lift it back up. Keep drawing the abdominals in as you move the knees down and up. Breathe in and out. Last two. And lift, one more, lift and hold, and then lift the hips all the way up. Coming through your downward dog stretch, press into your heels, take a big breath in, and then breathe out, walk your hands back towards your feet. Drop your chin to your chest, round your spine, and roll yourself all the way back up to standing. Just realigning the spine, head coming up last. Now you just take another big breath in as you reach your arms overhead, and then breathe out, come up onto the toes, and we're just going to drop the heels down and up, just working, kind of easing out the ankles and strengthening your lower legs. Also working on the balance. Stay there for 3, 2, last one, holding nice and high, and then reach the arms out to the side. As your hands come down, we're going to drop the hips and then lift the arms back up. Now just glance down at your knees and try to make sure your knees are tracking perfectly over your toes. So don't let the knees pull in towards each other or roll out to the sides of the mat. Just make sure they go straight over those toes. Get your hips down low so your thighs are almost parallel to the floor as you're sitting back into a really low chair. And lift the arms up. That will just help you to straighten up the back as well. And work into the shoulders. Stay there for 2, down. Breathe in as you lift, and then hold the last one down. Take the weight to the front of your feet and try to balance, lifting your heels up off the mat. Draw the belly button in a little tighter. Inhale, drop the heels down. So you can keep the hips low as you lift the heels up. Inhale, lower them back down one last time. Breathing out, lift the heels, hold your balance. Stay there for 3, 2, and 1. Then lower your heels, come back to standing, and take a big breath in. Good. Now take your hands behind your back, lift the arms, lift your chest, look up to the ceiling, and then breathe out, hinge yourself forward. Take your chest down towards your knees to let the arms drop away from your body. Take a big breath in, and then as you breathe out, let the hands come all the way down. Soften the knees, get your hands on the mat, and then step your hands forward, breathing out as you come forward. Good. From here, we're going to take your right hand, touch your left shoulder, and then left hand to right shoulder. Try to keep your hips level with your shoulders. So don't pike up the hips or let them sag down too low. You keep that perfect plank position as we take one hand away, tap the opposite shoulder, and try to reduce the swaying side to side. Try to engage your corset muscle, your obliques at the sides of the waist, so we reduce the side to side movement. Last 2. And 1, take the hands down to the mat. Now we're going to lower the knees down and sit back onto your heels. Stretch your arms, stretch out your back, rest your head. Take a big breath in and exhale. Just let it go. Good. Drag your hands back. Spin yourself around so you're on your back. And we're going to need that ball. So grab the ball or a cushion if you don't have a ball. And then come all the way down onto the back. So your knees are bent, and we're going to place the ball between your knees. Walk your feet in close to your hips, and I want you to press your lower back down into the mat. Draw the belly button in. You actually use the hands at the sides of the waist, almost to push the sides of the waist together and really stitch together that line that separates the abdomen. So we're really drawing everything into that midline of your abdominals. Take your hands behind your head and breathe out. Squeeze the ball tight as you lift the shoulders up. Inhale, lower the shoulders back down to the mat. Keep the back flat on the mat, breathe out, lift the head and shoulders, squeeze the ball, draw the belly button in, and give me a big pelvic floor lift. So really lifting the perineum, drawing your sit bones together. Inhale, lower the shoulders, relax the knees. Exhale, head and shoulders come up, squeeze the ball, scoop the abdominals, lift the pelvic floor. Inhale down. 2 more, there. Breathing out, again, head, shoulders, peel up, squeeze the ball, lower back down, belly button in, pelvic floor lifting, think back passage, lifting up and away. Inhale, lower the shoulders down. And then last one, head and shoulders up, lower back down, draw the belly button in tight, hold there for 3, 2, and 1, and then inhale, lower your shoulders down to the mat. Take your hands down along your sides. Now we're gonna do a similar imprint of the lower back, but this time we're gonna lift the hips up and be working into our glutes rather than the abdominals. Shoulders away from ears, we're gonna imprint the lower back down, squeeze your ball tight, and articulate your spine, peeling 1 vertebra at a time up off that mat, and until you come all the way up to your shoulders. And really narrow the waist. Imagine you're lifting your waistband of your leggings or your shorts just with the muscles alone. Squeeze the ball tighter so we really get the inner thighs working. Inhale, lower your hips down to the mat, and then exhale, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the bum, squeeze that ball, and then inhale down. Exhale again, lift, squeeze the legs. Breathe in to lower, breathe out to lift. So the focus is your inner thighs. We're really trying to pop that ball between the knees. We're really wrapping the glutes around the tailbone. The glutes are working as well. But I also want you to think about this corset muscle and try to really narrow your waist as you lift your hips up. Add a pelvic floor squeeze as well at the top of the movement. Stay there for 4 and 3. Last 2. Hold the last one up and then breathe in, reach the arms all the way behind you until the backs of the hands are touching the floor. Drop your rib cage down first. Just imagine your spine like a bicycle chain, 1 link at a time, dropping down into the mat, really tilting the pelvis to get through the lower back. And then your tailbone then comes down last and you come back into a neutral spine. Take your hands down to your sides. Now we're gonna try to lift the knees up, lift your feet up. So your feet and knees are parallel to the floor. Your knees are directly over your hips. Come into a neutral spine. So we're not imprinting or flattening out the lower back with this one. We're keeping that little inward curve of the lumbar spine. Draw the belly button in tight. Lift your head and shoulders. Look towards your thighs and start pumping the arms. Breathing in for 4 beats. And then breathe out for 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and up. So the goal of this exercise is to try to maintain a stable neutral spine with that little space under the lower back while we use the arms to kind of destabilize you. You have to use the abdominal muscles to keep everything still so that the only thing moving is the arms. Now we've got the ball between the knees because squeezing the inner thigh muscles helps you to engage those deeper abdominal muscles, helps you to engage with your pelvic floor as well. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, breathe in. And out. So it's always good to look down towards the abdominals. Just make sure nothing's doming up or lifting. Everything's scooped in tight. Now, if your neck starts to strain, you can take your head down to the mat and just do the same movement with the head down. Breathe out. We're going to go 1 more breath. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Now, take the head and shoulders down, grab your ball, and use that ball just to hug your knees in and add a little bit of movement side to side, massaging out your lower back. Good. Now lift your head and shoulders, draw the belly button in. We're now back into our flat back and then stretching the arms and legs long. Breathe in, tap the ball to your shins, and then breathe out, extend the arms and legs. Again, you've got the option with this one to have the head down on the mat, so there's no strain on the neck. If you feel like your neck is kind of feeling that tension, try putting it back down. But if you can, try to keep the head and shoulders up, draw your chin into the chest, taking the weight of the head forward. That will be less strain on the neck. Stay there for 3, stretch. And then a little bit of a squeeze on the ball just to get the upper body working as well. And last one, stretch. And bend, let the head and shoulders come down. Turn your head side to side, stretching out that neck. Good. And then pop the ball away to the side and then come back up to that tabletop position with your knees above your hips and your feet and knees parallel to the floor. Back into our neutral spine, that little space under your lower back. Sink your ribs down, draw the belly button in again, give me a pelvic floor lift, and then we're gonna drop both knees to the right as you turn your head to the left, and then breathe out, narrow the waist, lift the knees back to the midline, and let your knees drop down to the left. Now the knees shouldn't touch the floor or come all the way down, otherwise we would be lifting the shoulder up. We're trying to anchor the shoulders down And just let that pelvis twist and roll as much as you can without lifting the shoulders. So again, shouldn't come all the way down to the mat, but go as far as you feel comfortable so you can manage without lifting a shoulder up. Breathe in out as you lift. Breathe in as you lower. Good. Now come back to the center point and take your feet down to the mat. Pick up your ball again, and we're going to lift the hips up and balance on your ball. So the ball should be placed just between your hip bones and your tailbone. It's not sticking out too much from the tailbone like that, or under your lower back like that. It should be just right between the hip bones and the tailbone, like a little shelf for the pelvis. If you've got a little space in that curve on your lower back, and it's not sticking out too far from the tailbone. Draw the abdominals in again. Rest your hands across across your stomach, drawing in, pushing the sides of the waist together, and we're going to tap the right toe down. Exhale, lift it back up. Inhale, lower your left toe down. Exhale, so you lift it back up. So the goal here is to work into our deep abdominals, our stabilizing muscles that will keep you still on that ball and also really help protect your lower back. So just strengthening that lower back, keeping that corset muscle that's like your internal back support. Continue to tap the toes as we lift the fingertips up to the ceiling. So now we still have that wrapping sensation with the muscles, but your hands are reaching up to this, forced to balance a little bit more. Go one more time each way. Tap the right toe, relax the shoulders, tap your left toe, and then we're going to extend your right arm and your left leg. So I want you to stretch that toe to the wall in front of you. Reach the hand down to the floor behind you. Try to touch the thumb to the mat. Then breathe out. Lift the hand back over the shoulder, the knee over the hip. Breathe in, extend your left arm and your right leg, and then breathe out. Draw everything back together. Again, right arm, left leg. So try to isolate the movement to one arm and one leg. So I don't want both arms scissoring, moving together. It's just a single arm reaching and then returning back to that starting point. Alternate sides. Stay there for 4. Try to keep your rib cage down on the mat. Keep the belly button pulled in. Keep the pelvic floor engaged. It's just a little bit of a lift, little contraction with the pelvic floor. Last one, out and back. And then just hug your knees into your chest. If you need to, take a hand down to help you to stabilize or stay still on that ball if you're wobbling. And then extend your legs out. So ideally, you have both hands behind the calves. But again, feel free to take one hand down if you find that you're moving around a little too much. Hold the legs, straighten up the legs. So try to get the knees straight. And then try to push your tailbone down into the ball. So kind of push that lowest part of the spine down. So we feel that stretch through your hamstrings. Good. Bend your knees, then get your feet down to the mat. We're going to lift the hips up off the ball, take the ball away. Pull your knees in so you're kind of curled up into a little ball, chin to chest. I'm going to roll yourself all the way up to sitting and flip over to all fours. Now we have the hands directly beneath the shoulders, the knees directly beneath the hips. I'm going to slide your right leg back and draw your belly button up and in. So your back is nice and straight, nice and flat, and we're going to lift the right leg up. What I don't want is for when that leg to go up for your lower back to collapse like that. So we're keeping a nice straight back. Imagine you're balancing a cup of tea in the middle of your back as you move that right leg. Also reach through the toe on your long leg, on your moving leg. Try to really stretch it. So we're always trying to lengthen our limbs as we strengthen them. So keeping those muscles nice and long by really actively reaching through the toe. Stay there for 3 and 2. Last one, take the toe down to the mat, and now we're going to sweep the end of the mat and circle the leg around. Take the foot back to the corner of the mat again. Sweep the end of the mat. So the goal here is to keep the whole body still except for that moving leg. So your arms are strong and holding still. Your supporting leg is strong and holding still. Your core is strong and still. Last 2, sweep it out, circle it around, and 1. Good. Now I want you to point the toe up to the ceiling, lift your knee up in line with your hips, pull your ribs up into your body. So as that toe comes up, the ribs want to tend to drop down towards the mat, but reverse that and pulse up, little lifts with the toe. Stay there, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Then turn the knee out, circle the knee, 4 each way, 3, make sure you're not bending into that left elbow, 2, and 1, reverse it 4 the other way. 3, 2, and 1. Extend your right toe to the right corner of the mat. Extend your left hand to the left corner of the mat. And then lift the arm and leg up at a long diagonal. And then lower back down. Exhale, lift. Inhale up. So we're balancing between the right hand and your left knee, lengthening through the fingertips and the toes. Stay there for 3 and 2. Last one. Take the hand under the shoulder, the knee under the hip, and sit back onto your heels. Just circle your wrists. And then take the hands back under the shoulders. Come back into our starting position so we can do the other leg. So we're going to extend your left leg back. Again, draw the belly button up and away. Add a little pelvic floor lift as well. And then lengthen through that left toe as you lift up and down. Do that for 8, 7. Keep pressing the mat away. So don't let your spine sink down between your shoulder blades. Imagine a string at the back of the head, a string between your shoulder blades, and the string at the lower back. All just lifting so everything stays nice and level. Last 2. And 1, take the foot back down to the mat, sweep the end of the mat with the legs, circle around, and sweep from the middle of the mat out to the corner, then up and around, keeping the rest of the body still. Stay there for 5, and 4, last 3, 2, up and around, and 1. That comes back to that middle point of the mat. Now we bend the knee, point the toe up to the ceiling, pull the ribs up into the body, press the mat away, pulse up from there for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Turn the knee out, turn the toes in, circle the knee up and around. Stay there for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reverse it. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take the knee down to the mat. Sit back onto your heels. Stretch the arms, stretch the back. And then coming back to that starting position, we're going to take the right hand to the right corner of the mat, send your left leg out to the left corner of the mat, and then reaching through the fingers and through the toes as we lift the arms and the arm and the leg up out to the corners of the room for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and again, balancing between the opposite hand knee. Hold the last one up, stay there for 4, 3, 2, 1, then drop the hand, drop the knee, and sit back onto your heels. Wrap the hands behind your back, lift your arms up as you lift your chest. And then lace the fingers in front, around the shoulders, scoop the abdominals, and lengthen the spine as you reach those palms up to the ceiling. And then the arms go up to your sides. Good. Now we're going to grab the band. And we're going to lay the band over the top of your knees. And cross it underneath and hold it on top. So we've got a double wrap, and then when you take your knees hip width apart, there's a little bit of tension in the band, but you're not cutting off your circulation. So it's not too tight, not too loose. You'll know once you start moving the legs if you need to adjust the tension because it might be too hard or just far too easy. Now coming onto your side, just make sure your knees are stacked, one on top of the other, so that top knee isn't behind the lower knee. Your feet are forward at the front edge of the mat. Your back and your shoulders are lined up with the back edge of your mat. So you're in a straight back chair position. Then lift the knee and the foot, stretching that band as you lift and lower. Trying to keep the foot perfectly in line with that knee. Don't let the foot lift up any higher. Don't let it drop any lower. Keep that alignment of the lower leg as you lift and lower. The focus is this muscle here, your glute medius, the side of your hip. You should feel that tension start to build up pretty soon after you start. If you don't feel the tension, maybe tighten your band a little bit. Stay there for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then we're going to hold the last one up. Now circle the knee up and around for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reverse the circles for the other way. 3, really stretching up into the band. Last 1, knees together, feet together. Take a breath. Try to check your posture still perfect. And then open the knees out with the feet together. So just press the knee up into the band. Keep the toes touching on your mat. Stay there for 6, 5. So that's just kind of working into that muscle from a slightly different angle. Last 2 and 1. Now drop the knees, lift your toes up. Again, check your shoulders are relaxed, and then open the knee out from there. Stay there for 8, 7. So feet just lifted just up off the mat, opening the knees wide. Stay there for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now drop the knees, drop the feet, take your band off. Just up behind you. Extend your legs out and stretch. Actually, no, we're gonna stay up on that elbow. So hands under that. You can do it with the head down, but I prefer with the head propped onto the elbow. Lift both legs up off the mat and then turn your toes out, heels together. As you squeeze your heels together, we're going to draw in your lower abdominals, add a little pelvic floor lift, and we're going to bend the knee of your top leg and try to shine it straight up to the ceiling. Kick the toe up to the ceiling, then flex your feet, draw your heels back together. Again, knee to ceiling, toe to ceiling, flexed foot, heels come back together. 2 more, knee to the ceiling, toe to the ceiling, lengthen through the heel. Again, lengthening as we strengthen. Last one, bend the knee, open out the hip, lift the leg, stretch the leg as straight as you can, lower everything back down. Now we're gonna hold there and just make sure that top hip hasn't rolled back. Just maybe take it slightly forward, just rolling the pelvis forward so your hips are perfectly stacked. Squeeze the inner thighs, stretch your upper body a little longer, and then lift your leg up with the leg straight. Then we bend the knee and then slide the toe along the lower leg and squeeze as the heels come back together. And lift, then slide the toe along the lower leg, lifting that lower leg up into that top toe. So we're kind of almost working the inner thigh of the lower leg as well as your top leg. So this is really working on mobility. It's also strengthening the joints around the knees and the hips. Last one, we squeeze everything together. And then I want you to drop your feet down, take your top knee forward, take the hand that was under the head to the knee, and then reach the other arm out behind you. Trying to touch the back of the hand down to the floor, looking over the shoulder to that back wall, and then circle the arm all the way around your body. Trying to keep one finger touching the mat as you circle that arm all the way around. Then reverse your circles. Let's go twice the other way, all the way around. Breathing in and out. And then take your knees back together. We're going to change to the other side. Start with that band again. Place the band over the top of your knees. Cross it under. Hold on top. And shift on to your side. Now again, your back is straight. Your shoulders and your hips are lined up at the back of the edge of the mat. Knees are stacked, feet forward, core tight, belly button in, pelvic floor lifting, and we lift the knee and the foot. Again, the first set, we keep the knee and the foot in a line. So we're opening out the knees, taking the feet apart. That lower leg is parallel to the floor. Stay there. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, we hold. Now circle the knee and the foot up and around for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reverse it 4 the other way. 3, 2, and 1. Now feet together, knees together. Just check your upper body. Make sure the shoulders aren't creeping up to the ears. Check your back is still straight as you lift the knee with the feet together and down. Up and down. Just also check that those knees come right back together. That top knee isn't starting to shift behind the lower knee, which would mean the pelvis is starting to roll towards that back wall. Stay there for 6. Stretch the band each time. Really get that muscle working. Last 4, 3, 2, and we're going to hold the next one up now. Double up. Actually, we didn't do that on the other side. We lower the knees. Now we lift the feet and then open the knees out from there. So with the toes a few inches up off the mat, stretch that band and open the knees. Stay there for 8, 7, 6. So starting to feel that burn. 5, 4. Keep the core strong. Keep your posture perfect. Last 2. And 1, and then lower the knees, lower the feet. Take your band away. And then just pop it slightly behind you, wherever. Extend your legs out. Heels together, toes turn out. Lift both legs up, shoulders down away from the ears, belly button pulled in tight. Finding your balance, we're going to take the knee up to the ceiling. Try to open that hip out. Almost pulling that knee to the wall behind you. Extend the leg as straight as you can. Flex the foot, lengthen as you draw the heels back together. And again, knee to ceiling, toe to ceiling, reaching through the heel as everything comes back together. 2 more times, open out the hip, lift the knee, stretch the leg, lower it down, slow motion. So imagine you're pushing that leg through wet cement as you draw the legs back together. Now point the toes, shoulders back, squeeze the inner thighs, and then lift the leg straight up, bend the knee, slide the toe along the lower leg, and again, squeeze when the heels come together. Lift, bend, and then get that friction between the toe and the lower leg, lifting the lower leg up, pushing it into that toe. So we get the inner thigh working, the lower leg, as well as the top leg working. Lift, bend, and sweep. Let's go one more last time. Lift, bend, and sweep the heels together. Drop the feet down, take the top knee forward, the hand that was under the head holds the knee, and the other arm twists the shoulders and reaches to the wall behind you. Try to touch the back of your hand to the floor. Circle the arm over your head, take it out in front, past your leg and back, and then reverse your circle. Just one big circle the other way, all the way around. Good, now take the knees together and we're gonna come up to sitting. We need that ball again. We're gonna place the ball right under your lower back. So I'm gonna press your lower back into the ball. So we're coming into our C curve abdominals. So your spine is like the shape of the letter C. So it's a big C through your spine and a small C through your abdominals. Your elbows are out wide, like you're hugging a big ball in front of you, and then we're gonna press that lower back into the ball, inhale it back up. So it's like there's a finger through your belly button, pressing into that ball. So everything's drawing in. So we're working those abdominals. We're shortening the distance between your ribs and hips. So the movement comes from the lower back, not your shoulders. We're not leaning back over the ball. We're pressing the lower back into the ball. We're kind of closing out the front of the body. Stay there for 4 more. Your feet should be about hip width apart. So if you made a fist, you could fit that fist right between the knees. Last 2. Hold the last one. Breathe out. Lift your arms overhead. Inhale, lower the arms back down. 2 more times, lift the arms overhead. Keep your abdominals tight and active, pressing that lower back into the ball. Last one, lift, and then take the hands back to the knees. Stretch and straighten out the back with a big inhale. And then as you breathe out again, press the lower back into the ball. Draw the abdominals in, shoulders away from the ears. We're gonna turn to the right, shoulders facing your hands. Make sure the arms are over here and your chest still facing forward. Shoulders face the hands, and we go down an inch, press into the ball, up an inch. Tuck. And let belly button pulled in, ribs pulling towards your hips, opening up the lumbar spine. Stay there for 4 and 3. Last 2. Hold the last one. Breathe out, lift the arms overhead. Inhale, lower them back down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Last one. Breathing out to lift. Inhale, lower. Take the hands back to the knees and stretch out your back. Big inhale. And then breathing out one last time, one last set. Scooping, rounding the spine. Imagine the ice cream scoopers carved everything out through your lower abdominals. Turn to the left, go down an inch, up an inch, tuck, and lift. Stay there for 6 and 5. Last 4. So twist any further. 3, 2, and we're gonna hold the last one. Breathe out, lift the arms overhead. Breathe in, lower them back down. Breathe out to lift. Into lower, and then last one, lift the arms overhead, and then take your hands back to the knees, come up off the ball, open your knees out to the side, and just fold forward over your legs, dropping your chin into your chest, and then breathe in, sit up nice and tall and straight. Now we're gonna finish with a quick stretch. So we take our knees back in line with your hips, and I want you to take your right ankle over your left knee. Now try to sit up as tall and straight as you can. So try to straighten up that back. The straighter your posture, the more you're gonna feel that stretch. And just take that right hand to that knee and maybe just gently ease it out. And if you can, take your hands down to the mat, and so you can lift your hips up and just kind of float and just kind of do little, almost bounces down and maybe circling around a little bit. Just whatever feels right. Listen to your body. Switch legs. So again, we start sitting up. Perfect posture. Trying to ease that left knee away from you as you pull your right knee in, as you straighten up your back and string out the top of the head. And then take your hands back, push into your right foot, and just kind of lift and lower to get that stretch. Just pulling your chest a little closer to the knees, just kind of easing that hip out. And then circle the hips around, and then sink them all the way down. Uncross your left leg. You're going to spin yourself around. So you come to all 4s. Have your hands directly beneath your shoulders, knees beneath your hips. Draw the belly button in. And we're going to do one more abdominal and pelvic floor exercise. I want you to hover your knees above the mat. Really scoop and hollow the abdominals. Big pelvic floor lift and squeeze. Inhale, lower the knees down to the mat. Fill your lungs, and then as you exhale, just hover the knees 1 or 2 inches above the mat. Draw the belly button in. Draw the sit bones together. Lift the back passage. Really squeeze and lift the pelvic floor. Inhale, lower back down. And exhale, last one, we're gonna lift the knees all the way up, pressing into your heels, so stretching all the way into the backs of the legs. I'm gonna bend your left knee, keep your right heel down on the mat, try to stretch into that heel, and then bend the right knee, left heel presses down into the mat, really lengthening from the heel right up the back of the leg to that sit bone. Alternate sides for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And both heels come down, walk your hands back to your feet, hang over your legs, hold the backs of the ankles, nod the head yes, shake the head no. Soften your knees, let the hands hang and roll yourself all the way back up to standing. Shoulders and head come up last. Inhale, lift the arms up. And just finish with a balance, coming up onto your toes, drawing the abdominals in, and then take the hands down. And you're all set. Great. Hope you enjoyed that 30-minute session. We're back again tomorrow at 10:30 UK time, and we're going to do the Friday focus with rings and hamstrings. So do tune in, subscribe to the YouTube, and see you soon. Bye.